I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again. But life is one big riddle of the future and what's been. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running to better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times. Better times, to better times, to better times. Remember I was laughing in all the photos that you took, but now it looks like acting, like we were fiction in a book. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running to better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running to better times, to better.
Hello, welcome. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you guys are back tonight. You're going to see my face all over again every single night. We're going to get really close by the end of this because we're going to see a lot of each other. And I'm really stoked for it. So thank you for showing up tonight. I'm so excited to see you. We're going to jump into stuff super quick tonight because I have a lot of things to cover. A lot of things to tell you, all right? I am so excited with how many of you messaged me last night and today about how impactful the content was. Like the messages going back and forth. Oh my gosh, if you're in the group chat, holy shit. Like I am so grateful and so honored to be creating a space where there's so much vulnerability, so much honesty, and so much healing already taking place. I'm so excited about it. As you can see, I'm hyped. I'm really hyped. I'm drinking caffeine. You're going to see that happen every single night. Every single night. So let me know that you are here and that you are on the video, whether you are watching live or watching the replay, by dropping a nickname that you've had at some point in your life, whether it was a nickname you gave to yourself, whether it was a nickname somebody gave to you, whatever it was, drop that nickname in the comments. I want to see them. I hope some of them make me laugh too. I want to make sure that you know, again, what to expect out of this week. Okay. Give yourself the hour every single night this week and invest it in you and your family. Okay, we're going to go deep. There's going to be a lot of content that comes out of this. And I want you to have this agreement with me that you're going to participate, that you're going to show up to the videos, that you're going to do the homework. And I promise to come right back at it with incredible content and incredible information for you. Okay, this is a mutual space here. All right. If you are brand new to this space and you have not yet gotten your workbook, I know I had a couple of you message me that you weren't sure where it was at. I forgot to put this on the screen. Hold on. Grab your workbook here. I'm going to drop the link down here for you so that you can access it really, really easily. You are welcome to look at it on the screen. You're welcome to download it. You're welcome to print it out, whatever you would like to do. So this is where you can grab your workbook, empowerthetalk.com/workbook. It is there. It will be accessible all week at that web address. I know a lot of you are printing it out. I'm a paper person, right? Like I need to have it printed out so I can take my notes as I'm watching. Some of you are virtual people, and that's totally fine too. Do what makes the most sense for your brain and how is best supporting your learning. Okay? Do what makes the most sense for you. So feel free to grab your workbook there. Tonight, we are going to be unpacking your backstory to create the new story, right? This is kind of the lead up of what last night was, of how we get to that new story. What work do we need to do that is that foundational work in order to get to that new story, okay? As a reminder, every single night is at 8 p.m. Eastern. You are always welcome to watch the replay. You will absolutely get more if you're on here live. If you're able to interact live, you will absolutely get more out of it, but you are always welcome to watch the replays and you can go back and watch them again, okay? There will be on Monday, hot seat coaching. I'm super excited about this. I already have a file going of questions that are coming up and questions that people are asking. So feel free to message those to me. I will add them to my sheet. If you want to hold them yourself and ask them on Monday, that's totally fine too. Do what works best for you, okay? If you put it in the chat, that's also fine. If you put it in the comments, I don't care. Wherever you want to put your question, wherever you want to put it. And I'm going to save it for Monday, and I will answer all the questions then. Okay, so make sure you save those, get those to me, ask them Monday, however works best for your brain. All right. So hello, those of you that are new tonight, I want to introduce myself so that you don't just see a rando standing up here and why I would even have reason to talk about this. Okay. So hi, my name is Liz Martin. I'm a sex positive parenting coach, the founder of Empower the Talk, a certified sex educator, a certified doula. I literally talk about all things sex and sexual health in a variety of capacities. Okay. My background is as a social worker, and I've been in the field of social work for 8 years now, which feels like a long time. And I've been self-employed doing this work within sexual health for the last 4. This week, I'm going to empower you to have those tough conversations with yourself and with any kiddos that are living in your home, while giving you the education that you need to do it confidently. Okay, that's a big task for this week. I'm setting myself up for a really big task because I know that oftentimes the conversation around sexual health doesn't evoke a feeling of confidence, right? There's so many unanswered questions, or so many things that were said to be taboo, or so many things that just weren't even addressed at all. The feeling and the conversations around sexual health often doesn't evoke confidence. That is my goal for you for this week, that through participating and really diving into this workshop this week, that you will be able to have those tough conversations with yourself and with any kiddos in your home and do it confidently. Okay. I want to share a little disclaimer, and I will probably bring this up every single night pending the conversations that we are having. The topics that we're discussing could likely bring up feelings of discomfort for some, okay? And if it is something that you've never worked through before, or you have any kind of trauma, sexual trauma in your history, things could come up that could trigger you. Okay, I want you to be really mindful of where you're at. And there's going to be some conversations that we have today that go a little bit deeper into some sexual trauma. Okay, I want you to be mindful and protect your space and protect your heart as we're talking about this. I also want you to know that if you need additional support, you are more than welcome to message me, and I'm happy to be that person if you feel comfortable and connected in that way. I am also more than happy to give you a referral to a licensed therapist. I can support in a coaching capacity. I'm happy to refer you to a licensed therapist, okay? Know that that is an option that is available, and I want you to protect where you're at and be mindful of what you need as we continue to go through this workshop this week, okay? All right, we are jumping straight in today because I have a bunch to share. Put your energy into this. Devote this hour for you to focus, for you to support your journey, for you to prioritize your mental, emotional, sexual well-being. It all goes together. Okay? Put the energy into it. Also, as a reminder, stick around till the end because I have a winner to announce for our first giveaway. Okay? So make sure you stick to the end for that. Tonight, we are going to go through how to unpack your backstory, the formula to begin the rewrite, how to create value around your new narrative, and how to support your story of trauma. Okay? Going in deep tonight. All right. There's a lot happening tonight. Go ahead and drop an emoji in the comments to show me that you're still here. I am so excited to jump in. I told you I was going hard with the caffeine tonight. I, again, worked out right before this. And so the energy level, I needed the extra caffeine. I love seeing the comments. Hello. I see Dixie on, Robin, Holly. Hi, everyone. Hi. All right. We are going to start with how to, that's not what I wanted to hit. How to unpack your backstory. Okay. That's a big phrase for something that can be viewed very simplistically, but has all the layers of complication. Okay. We talked a little bit about this last night of my process that I go through with all of my clients and the formula that I use. Identify, assess, rewrite. Okay. I want to go a little bit deeper into that and what each of those mean. I see some, oh my gosh, roller skate. That is like a dangerous hobby for me. I would absolutely break some bones doing that. So be safe and enjoy. And I'm excited to hear what you think on the replay. All right. So we've got identify, assess, and rewrite. Identify. You have to know what your story is currently and where it came from. Okay, that's a vital part of this. You have to know what story is there. So I'm going to give you some prompts, some questions. Feel free to write these down in your workbook. Feel free to jot them on a Post-it note, whatever works for you, of things to think about as you're going through that identify process. Was the story that you have around sex and pleasure, was it caregivers that raised you? Is that who influenced that narrative? Was it from religious culture? Something that the church taught you or another religious space? Was it from an ex-partner? Something that a partner said that stuck in your brain and has never left? Was it from the peer circle that you were in? The way your peers at school spoke about sex or what they were doing with their partner at that time? What messages did you hear from those around you? Or did you hear any messages at all? Were those messages from the same gender as you? What influenced that story? Where did it come from? Going so deep in this, okay? This is not just this one thing happened. This is so much deeper than that, of identifying what your story currently is. And I want you to get crystal clear on what that story is. That allows you to unpack it better. It allows you to rewrite it better. It allows you to assess that story better. We have to know the ins and outs of that story in order to do that work well. Okay? We move from that identifying process into the assess process. Is this story serving me well? Hear that phrase again. Is this story serving me well? You will hear me say this phrase over and over in my space of whether your story is serving you well. And it's such a deep question. So let's break it down a little bit. Is it helping you reach the outcomes that you're looking for? Have you ever assessed your story around sex and pleasure and asked the question, is it supporting me in reaching the outcomes that I want? Is it meeting my needs? around sex and pleasure. There is no rule around what your needs should be. Okay, that is up to each body to decide what is right for them. There is no one that can tell you you should be doing it at this frequency, or you should be doing it in this way, or with this partner. That is 100% up to you as a being to decide. But is it meeting your needs? What needs do you have inside the context of your sexual well-being? And is the story that is currently around that meeting those needs? The value system that is tied to your sexual well-being, does it feel good? Or does it bring up shame? Every single one of the clients that I've worked with has unpacked to some capacity a story of shame around sexual health, around sexual well-being. I have yet to work with a client that has not shared some level of shame or guilt around sex or pleasure. So the value system that you have tied to your story of what is right and wrong, what is good and bad, what is safe and unsafe, that value system, does it feel good to you? Or does it bring up shame and guilt? Does my story feel like something that I'm allowed to talk about? Or does it feel like something that has to stay behind closed doors, only to be talked about with a partner, and sometimes not even then? Or with your girlfriends when you have had an entire bottle of wine? Does my story feel like something I'm allowed to talk about? Could I comfortably share this story with my partner? This conversation comes up so much in my spaces of how to have these conversations with our partners. And I hope that so many of you are bringing your partner into this conversation, because I assure you, no matter the gender of your partner, all bodies come with some narrative around sex and pleasure. And every client that I've worked with so far has had some narrative around shame or guilt in that. I imagine that your partner, no matter the gender, has a similar story, that something triggers shame, something triggers a feeling of guilt. The level of vulnerability that can happen between partnerships when we're able to have this really vulnerable, intimate conversation around what our narrative is around sex, oh, that's mind-blowing. That is a powerful space that is created in that relationship. That is a powerful space of an emotional intimacy that is hard to connect in any other way. You deserve partnerships that this is a safe conversation. You deserve partnerships that you're allowed to talk about what feels good for your body. You deserve partnerships that allow you to explore that and explore what really pleasurable, sexual, sultry sensations are like for you. You deserve partnerships that honor that your sexual well-being is a part of who you are. You are a sexual being in whatever capacity you define for yourself. And you get to decide how that is carried out. As we begin the process of the rewrite, this is where the life-changing work happens. And I can say life-changing and it be heard so simply of just like, oh yeah, okay, life-changing, right? But I have seen it happen in front of me with my clients who have gotten to this phase. And the level of emotional intimacy that they are able to obtain with themselves and with their partners. The level of connection that is created when they begin this process of rewriting a story that truly serves them and serves them well. Your story around sex impacts more than just sex itself. It impacts how you show up in relationships, in the world, in your family, in friendships. It helps you determine your worth, your pleasure, and what you expect from those around you. The process of rewriting literally has the power to change your life. Hear that again. The process of rewriting your story around sex and pleasure into one that serves you well, quite literally, has the power to change your life. You get to determine what can stay in that story, what needs to be rewritten or edited, and what needs to be thrown out altogether, never to be looked at that page again. That is what you get to decide. Not me, not your partner, not a religious practice, not the friend group around you. You get to decide what that story is. The formula to begin the rewrite is something that I have curated in my space and something that works really well for my clients. And I want you to sit with it. You're not going to get to an answer tonight. You're not going to go through all of these processes of identifying, assessing, and rewriting tonight. You're not going to get through it all, and you shouldn't, okay? Hear me. This is not a checklist task to complete. This is something that I want you to sit with. And I want you to really let yourself feel it. So the formula that I use with my clients to begin this rewrite looks like this. Start by answering the question of what you want sex to feel like. Hear that again. Start by answering the question of what you want sex to feel like, but answer it in full embodiment. For example, I want sex to bring waves of hot pleasure through my body that spikes oxytocin in my brain and creates a feeling of deep connection with my body or another's. Think about what you want your body to feel. Think about what you want your brain to think. What emotions do you want involved? What way does spiritual or sensual connect for you? Again, this isn't something that I expect you to answer tonight or even tomorrow. I really want you to sit with this because there's a lot that comes up in this. Sit with it and then hop on a call with me to dig even deeper into the rewrite, journal about it, meditate on it, let it sink in. This is not a week-long process. This is months and years of work. Because how long have you had that story? For many of us, it's been a majority of our life that we've had the story that we currently have around sex. So the process to rewrite it isn't going to happen overnight. How do you create value around your new narrative? This value can be established by integrating this new narrative into a pleasure practice. Not that pleasure is inherently sexual. If you were here last night, you heard me preach on that pleasure in and of itself is not sexual. But integrating this into a pleasure practice has the power to create deeper sexual meaning, deeper sexual connection. Daily work is what it takes for the rest of our lives. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, look at this for a second. This is not an overnight process and never will be. If you are integrating pleasure into your being and giving yourself permission to feel that, in whatever capacity you rewrite that story, it is daily work. for the rest of your life, right? Like any practice that we truly want to embody, that we truly want to prioritize and create value around, isn't something that we're just going to do once and then be like, okay, that's all done. It takes daily work. And for some, that feels exhausting and they're not there yet. And that's okay. That's okay. And for others, you know that this is so important to who you are as a being and how it impacts everything else. I think it's important to really sit with any resistance that comes up, whether it is the resistance of time, that I don't have time to prioritize this, I don't have time to focus on this. I imagine there are several of you watching right now that would not define their story around sex and pleasure as anything of value. It just is what it is. It's something I do when my partner wants it, and that's it. And maybe it feels good in the moment, but it's not this thing that I prioritize in my life. Why? Where does your resistance come from in rewriting this story? There is no right or wrong answer to this. But if resistance is there, explore why. Explore where it comes from. What is triggering that resistance? What brought that resistance as the forefront of your brain? What resistance is there and why? I feel that the conversation of writing a healthy story around sex that serves you well cannot be had without also speaking to those of you that have a history of trauma. Because again, a vast majority of my clients have experienced some form of sexual trauma. Number one, I want you to hear me when I say that sexual trauma does not have to mean rape. For some, purity culture was hella traumatic. For some, playing spin the bottle as a kid and having to kiss someone was traumatic. Whatever you define as trauma in your history is valid. And it is trauma. That's up for you to decide. I think sometimes we have this narrative around minimizing of like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't to the point of intercourse. It wasn't to the point of not being able to escape. I didn't say no, but I didn't say yes. We are really good as beings at minimizing the trauma that we experience for fear of what could come up in it, for fear of what all there is to unpack, for fear of the response of the people around us. We're really good at that. If you need a licensed therapist to walk through unpacking that trauma, let me know. I am happy to connect you. And if you feel that we connect and that this is a space that feels safe for you, I am more than happy to support you in the capacity of coaching. You have to work through that journey with somebody that feels safe, with somebody that you feel connected to, with somebody that's able to hold space well for you. I think that it's really important to know the evidence and the statistics behind this. For those of us that have had a journey there, or for those of us that have children in our home, I think it's really important to know the stats, okay? Protect yourself as I share some of these stats. I'm going to take a drink really quick. One in 10 kids will experience sexual assault before the age of 18. 85% of children who are sexually abused know their abuser. 98% of sexual abuse cases are found to be true. The most vulnerable age for a child to be exposed to sexual abuse is between 3 and 8 years old. 1 out of every 6 American women have been victims of an attempted or completed rape in her lifetime. 1 out of every 6 women. Male college students between the ages of 18 and 24, those that are in college, are approximately 5 times more likely than non-students of the same age to be a victim of rape or sexual assault. Every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of sexual assault victims are under 30. 54% of sexual assault victims are between the ages of 18 and 34. I want you to see this one again. Every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. Sexual violence can and does have long-term effects on the victim. The likelihood that a person suffers with suicidal or depressive thoughts increases after sexual violence. 94% of women who are raped experience symptoms of PTSD during the 2 weeks following the rape. 30% of women report symptoms of PTSD 9 months after a rape. 33% of women who are raped contemplate suicide. 13% of women who are raped attempt suicide. Approximately 70% of rape or sexual assault victims experience moderate to severe distress, a larger percentage than any other violent crime. 70%. People who have been sexually assaulted are more likely to use drugs than the general population. 3.4 times more likely to use marijuana, 6 times more likely to use cocaine, and 10 times more likely to use other major drugs. Sexual violence also affects victims' relationships with their family, friends, and coworkers. 38% of victims of sexual violence experience work or school problems, which can include significant problems with a boss, coworker, a peer. 37% experience family or friend problems, including getting into arguments more frequently than before, not feeling that they can trust their family or friends, or not feeling as close to them as before the crime. 84% of survivors who were victimized by an intimate partner experience professional or emotional issues, including moderate to severe distress or increase in problems at work or school. 79% of survivors who were victimized by a family member, close friend, or acquaintance experience professional or emotional issues, including moderate to severe distress or increased problems at work or school. 67% of survivors who were victimized by a stranger experience professional or emotional issues, including moderate to severe distress or increased problems at work or school. Those numbers, 84%, 79%, and 67%. Victims are at risk of pregnancy and sexually transmitted disease. Studies suggest that the chance of getting pregnant from a one-time unprotected intercourse is between 3 and 5%, depending on a multitude of factors, including the time of month of intercourse occurs, whether contraceptives were used, and the age of the female. The average number of rapes and sexual assaults against females of childbearing age is approximately 250,000. Thus, the number of children conceived from rape every year in the United States ranges from 7,750 to 12,500. I talk about these numbers a lot, and I know these numbers a lot, but as a mother of 2 children and as a sexual assault victim myself, my heart rips apart every time I read them. This education and these conversations that we are having are necessary. Bodily autonomy is necessary. Being able to write a story that empowers you to live a pleasurable life is necessary. Hearing from my clients about how different things are in their relationships or in solo time after working with me one-on-one, there are few things that fill my heart as much as that. Hear me when I say it is possible to write a beautifully healing narrative around sex. It is possible to write a beautifully healing narrative around sex. This is so much deeper than just having a good sex life. So much deeper. Because I know every single one of you listening felt the emotion and felt those statistics in your soul. Whether you've experienced them or you know somebody that has experienced them or you felt the emotion that I was pouring into it, you felt it. You felt it. Writing a story around sex that serves you well is so much deeper than your sex life. I know that I have thrown so much at you tonight and been in the spectrum of emotions. So let me recap a little bit of what we've gone over. How to unpack your backstory. The formula that I use with my clients to begin the rewrite. How to create value around your new narrative. And how to support your story of trauma. And knowing that your trauma is real and it is valid. Tomorrow, we begin the conversation of either reparenting yourself because you never had a caregiver that gave it the conversation to you, or giving you an opportunity to parent your children in a way that is sex positive. Day 3 is the impact of talking to our kids about sex. Before I hop off here, I do not want to forget to do our giveaway for tonight. I want to announce our winner, and I am giving away a copy of my ebook and mini course, How to Talk to Your Kids About Sex. The value of that ebook and mini course is $79. Our winner for tonight for the giveaway is Sarah Compton. Message me to get your copy after we finish tonight. I will also drop the link in the comments for anyone else that wants to snag yours. It is available right now for your access. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and pouring energy into this space. I feel the energy that comes up. Thank you for holding that space with me. I will be back here again tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Be sure to check on the action step that is posting as soon as I get off of here. It will be posted right away, okay? Investing this hour each day has the power to change the story you have in your home around sex, whether it is for you, children in your home, inside of your partnerships. It has the power to be a beautifully healing story. Thank you for holding space with me, and I will see you all again tomorrow night. Good night, everyone.